If, in the first chapter of a story, you mention there's a gun on the wall, by the second chapter that gun must be fired. Chekhov's gun is a concept in writing that claims that any element introduced to a story must, in some way, be connected to the story's development or conclusion. The idea is a lot easier to understand when you consider the inverse, that an element can be introduced into a story for no reason other than to waste the audience's time, as well as the time of the author, the author's editor, publishing company, and any English teacher who gets her hands on it later. Of course, this isn't to say that absolutely everything must be directly plot relevant. It is completely acceptable to add details to a story designed to establish a scene or the tone of a scene. In the first example, the author may put a gun on the wall, not to have it go off, but instead to have the characters understand that they are in a part of the world where everyone is armed, or to add tension. Effectively, this is less of an ironclad law for how to write, and more of a helpful bit of advice for authors considering whether or not to include a specific element in their narrative. Just because you think a particular scene is cool doesn't mean it belongs in the story. Just because you have a good idea doesn't mean it belongs in your story. And just because you want the character to have a gun hanging on the wall doesn't mean that it belongs in the story either.